On an October morning in 2019 in Utah, the charred remains of a young woman were found in a backyard, her body burned beyond recognition. The victim was an innocent college student. Just what or who had she encountered that led to such a violent death? Her name was Mackenzie Lueck, a vibrant 23-year-old kinesiology student with dreams of becoming a nurse. She had flown back to Salt Lake City after attending her grandmother's funeral in California, unaware that she was stepping into a deadly trap. Mackenzie's last known movements were captured on airport surveillance footage. She was seen texting on her phone, completely unaware of the horror that awaited her. She ordered a lift, not to her apartment, but to Hatch Park, a secluded area miles from her home. It was here, in the dead of night, that Mackenzie met her killer. The man who orchestrated her murder was Ayoola Ajayi, a 31-year-old former Army IT specialist. Ajayi had carefully crafted his plan, turning off the security cameras at his home in anticipation of the brutal act he was about to commit. When Mackenzie arrived at the park, Ajayi was waiting. He lured her into his car, driving her to his home where he had prepared for her arrival in the most twisted way imaginable. Once inside, Ajayi's true intentions were revealed. He viciously attacked Mackenzie, binding her hands with zip ties and rope. As she struggled and pleaded for her life, Ajayi showed no mercy. He strangled her with his bare hands, crushing her windpipe. But the horror didn't end there. In a final act of savage brutality, Ajayi took a belt and wrapped it around Mackenzie's neck, pushing her onto her stomach and continuing to strangle her until she lay lifeless on the floor. Ajayi, in a desperate attempt to cover his tracks, dragged Mackenzie's body to his backyard. There, he doused her remains in gasoline and set them ablaze, the flames licking at her flesh and reducing her to little more than ash and bone. The stench of burning flesh filled the air, alerting neighbors who would later report the suspicious fire to authorities. But Ajayi's efforts to destroy evidence were far from over. He took what remained of Mackenzie's body and drove nearly 100 miles north to Logan Canyon. There, in a shallow grave, he buried her charred remains, her arms still bound behind her back. As days passed and Mackenzie failed to return home, her family and friends grew frantic. They plastered missing person flyers across the city, desperately seeking any information about her whereabouts. Little did they know that the man responsible for her disappearance was watching their efforts with cold detachment. The investigation took a turn when detectives obtained Mackenzie's phone records. They revealed that her last communication had been with Ajayi, their phones pinging in the same location just minutes before Mackenzie's device went dark forever.